वायुकुमारं वानरवीरं
वायुकुमारं वानरवीरं
वायुकुमारं वानरवीरं
आञ्जनेयमञ्जनकुमारम्
आञ्जनेयमञ्जनकुमारम्
श्रीमानुजं रामानसालं कृतम्
श्रीमानुजं राममानसालङ्कृतम्
श्रीमानुजं रामानसालं कृतम्
श्रीमानुजं राममानसालङ्कृतम्
श्री आञ्जनेयमञ्जनकुमार
श्री आञ्जनेयमञ्जनकुमार
श्री आञ्जनेयमञ्जनकुमार
श्री आञ्जनेयमञ्जनकुमारम्
श्रीरामदासं मारुतिरायम्
श्रीरामदासं मारुतिरायम्
श्रीरामदासं मारुतिरायम्
श्रीरामदासं मारुतिरायम्
श्री आञ्जनेयमञ्जनकुमार
श्री आञ्जनेयमञ्जनकुमारम्
श्रीमानुजं रामानसालं कृतम्
श्रीमानुजं राममानसालङ्कृतम्
श्रीमानुजं रामानसालं कृतम्
श्रीमानुजं राममानसालङ्कृतम्
श्री आञ्जनेयमञ्जनकुमारम्
श्री आञ्जनेयमञ्जनकुमारम्
श्री आञ्जनेयमञ्जनकुमार
श्री आञ्जनेयमञ्जनकुमारम्
राजा रामं नमो नमो सीतारामं नमो नमो
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 मारुतिरायं नमो नमो मानसवीरं 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 नमो नमो
राजा रामं नमो नमो सीतारामं नमो नमो
राजा रामं नमो नमो सीतारामं नमो नमो
मारुतिरायं नमो नमो मानसवीरं नमो नमो
मारुतिरायं नमो नमो मानसवीरं नमो नमो
श्री आञ्जनेयमञ्जनकुमार
श्री आञ्जनेयमञ्जनकुमार
श्री आञ्जनेयमञ्जनकुमार
श्री आञ्जनेयमञ्जनकुमारम्. Page 25 will continue to chant Shri Ramastuti. नमामि भक्तवत्सलं कृपालुशीलकोमलं
भजामि भक्तवत्सलं कृपालुशीलकोमलं
भजामि ते पदाम्बुजं मकामिनां स्वधामदं
भजामि ते पदाम्बुजं मकामिनां स्वधामदं
निकामश्याम सुन्दरं भवाम्बुनाथमन्दरं
निकामश्याम सुन्दरं भवाम्बुनाथमन्दरं
प्रफुल्ल प्रफुल्लकञ्जलोचनं मदादिदोषमोचनं
प्रफुल्लकञ्जलोचनं मदादिदोषमोचनं
प्रलम्बबाहुविक्रमं प्रभो प्रमेयवैभवं
प्रलम्बबाहुविक्रमं प्रभो प्रमेयवैभवं
निषङ्गचापसायकं धरं त्रिलोकनायकं
निषङ्गचापसायकं धरं त्रिलोकनायकं
दिनेशवंशमण्डनं महेशचापखण्डनं
दिनेशवंशमण्डनं महेशचापखण्डनं
मुनीन्द्रसन्तरञ्जनं सुरारिवृन्दभञ्जनं
मुनीन्द्रसन्तरञ्जनं सुरारिवृन्दभञ्जनं
मनोजवैरिवन्दितम् अजादिदेवसेवितं
मनोजवैरिवन्दितम् अजादिदेवसेवितं
विशुद्धबोधविग्रहं समस्तदूषणापहं
विशुद्धबोधविग्रहं समस्तदूषणापहं
नमामि इन्दिरापतिं सुखाकरं सतां गतिं
नमामि इन्दिरापतिं सुखाकरं सतां गतिं
भजे सशक्तिसानुजं शचीपतिप्रियानुजं
भजे सशक्तिसानुजं शचीपतिप्रियानुजं
त्वदङ्घ्रिमूलये नरः भजन्ति हीनमत्सरा
त्वदङ्घ्रिमूलये नरः भजन्ति हीनमत्सरा
पतन्ति नो भवाणवे वितर्कवीचिसङ्कुले
पतन्ति नो भवार्णवे वितर्कवीचिसङ्कुले
विविक्तवासिनः सदा भजन्ति मुक्तये मुदा
विविक्तवासिनः सदा भजन्ति मुक्तये मुदा
निरस्य इन्द्रियादिकं प्रयान्ति ते गतिं स्वकं
निरस्य इन्द्रियादिकं प्रयान्ति ते गतिं स्वकं
त्वमेकमद्भुतं प्रभुं निरीहमीश्वरं विभुं
त्वमेकमद्भुतं प्रभुं निरीहमीश्वरं विभुं
जगद्गुरुं च शाश्वतं तुरीयमेव केवलं
जगद्गुरुं च शाश्वतं तुरीयमेव केवलं
भजामि भाववल्लभं कुयोगिनां सुदुर्लभं
भजामि भाववल्लभं कुयोगिनां सुदुर्लभं
स्वभक्तकल्पपादपं समं सुसेव्यमन्वहं
स्वभक्तकल्पपादपं समं सुसेव्यमन्वहम्
अनूपरूपभूपतिं नतोऽहमुर्विजापतिम्
अनूपरूपभूपतिं नतोऽहमुर्विजापतिं
प्रसीद मे नमामि ते पदाब्जभक्ति देहि मे
प्रसीद मे नमामि ते पदाब्जभक्ति देहि मे
पठन्ति ये स्तवम् इदं नरादरेण ते पदम्
पठन्ति ये स्तवम् इदं नरादरेण ते पदम्
व्रजन्ति नात्र संशयं त्वदीयभक्तिसंयुताः
व्रजन्ति नात्र संशयं त्वदीयभक्तिसंयुता
व्रजन्ति नात्र संशयं त्वदीयभक्तिसंयुताः
व्रजन्ति नात्र संशयम्
ॐ न कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन त्यागेनैकेऽमृतत्वमानशुः परेण नाकं निहितं गुहायां विभ्राजते यद्यतयो विशन्ति वेदान्तविज्ञानसुनिश्चितार्थात् सन्न्यासयोगात्यतयच्छुद्धसत्त्वाः ते ब्रह्मलोके तु परान्तकाले परामृता परिमुच्यन्ति सर्वे दहरं विपापं परमेश्मभूतं यत्पुण्डरीकं पुरमध्यस्थगस्थं तत्रापि दहरं गगनं विशोकस्तस्मिन् यदन्तस्तदुपासितव्यं यो वेदादौ स्वरप्रोक्तो वेदान्ते च प्रतिष्ठितः तस्य प्रकृतिलीनस्य यः परः स महेश्वरः न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चन्द्रतारकं नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयमग्निः तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति.
We stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. We serve as an army, courageous and disciplined, ever ready to fight against all low tendencies and false values within and without us. We live honestly the noble life of sacrifice and service, producing more than what we consume and giving more than what we take. We seek the Lord's grace to keep us on the path of virtue, courage, and wisdom. May thy grace and blessings flow through us to the world around us. We believe that the service of our country is the service of the Lord of Lords, and devotion to the people is the devotion to the Supreme Self. We know our responsibilities. Give us the ability and courage to fulfill them. Om Tat Sat.
Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. 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 Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha.
Hari Om. Happy New Year, Happy Yugadi, Happy Gudi Padwa, Happy Vaisakhi to everyone. I hope you had a good celebration yesterday. So that means Ram Navami is around the corner. It's being celebrated at our temple next Sunday. So please read the e-announcements, and also after the class next Sunday at 11:30 there is a special puja, and hope you all can join in the midday 12 noon aarti. We can do that together. And today being the first Sunday of the month, we will do Vishnu Sahasranam.
Shantakaram bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gaganasadrusham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmikantam Kamalanayanam Yogibhirdhyanagamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaikanaatham. Om Vishwam Vishnurvashatkarah Bhutabhavya Bhavat Prabhuh Bhutakrut Bhutabhrudbhavah Bhutatma Bhutabhavanah Bhutatma Paramatma Cha Muktanam Paramagatihi Avyaya Purusha Sakshi Kshetrajñokshara Evacha Yogo Yoga Vidam Neta Pradhana Purusheshwaraha
नारसिंहवपुः श्रीमान् केशवः पुरुषोत्तमः सर्वः शर्वः शिवस्थाणुः भूतादिर्निधिरव्ययः सम्भवो भावनो भर्ता प्रभवः प्रभुरीश्वरः स्वयंभुः शम्भुरादित्यः पुष्कराक्षो महास्वनः अनादिनिधनो धाता विधाता धातुरुत्तमः अप्रमेयो ऋषिकेशः पद्मनाभोऽमरप्रभुः विश्वकर्मा मनुस्वष्टा स्थविष्ठस्थविरो ध्रुवः अग्रायः शाश्वतः कृष्णः लोहिताक्षः प्रतर्दनः प्रभूतस्त्विककुब्धाम पवित्रं मङ्गलं परम् ईशानः प्राणदः प्राणः ज्येष्ठः श्रेष्ठः प्रजापतिः हिरण्यगर्भो भूगर्भः माधवो मधुसूदनः ईश्वरो विक्रमी धन्वी मेधावी विक्रमक्रमः अनुत्तमो दुराधर्षः कृतज्ञः कृतिरात्मवान् सुरेशः शरणं शर्म विश्वरेता प्रजाभवः अहः संवत्सरो व्यालः प्रत्ययः सर्वदर्शनः अजः सर्वेश्वरः सिद्धः सिद्धिः सर्वादिरच्युतः वृषा कपिर्मेयात्मा सर्वयोगविनिःसृतः वसुर्वसुमना सत्यः समात्मा संमितः समः अमोक्त्यः समात्मा संमितः समः अमोघः पुण्डरीकाक्षः वृषकर्मा वृषाकृतिः रुद्रो बहुशिरा बभ्रुः विश्वयोनिःशुचिश्रवाः अमृतः शाश्वतस्थाणुः वरारोहो महातपाः सर्वगः सर्वविद्भानुः विश्वक्सेनो जनार्दनः वेदो वेदविदव्यङ्गः वेदाङ्गो वेदवित्कविः लोकाध्यक्षः सुराध्यक्षः धर्माध्यक्षः कृताकृतः चतुरात्मा चतुर्व्यूहः चतुर्दंष्ट्रश्चतुर्भुजः भ्राजिष्णुर्भोजनं भोक्ता सहिष्णुर्जगदादिजः अनघो विजयो जेता विश्वयोनिः पुनर्वसुः उपेन्द्रो वामनः प्रांशुः अमोघः शुचिरूर्जितः अतीन्द्रः सङ्ग्रहः सर्गः धृतात्मा नियमो यमः वेद्यो वैद्यः सदा योगी वीरः माधवो मधुः अतीन्द्रियो महामायः महोत्साहो महाबलः महाबुद्धिर्महावीर्यः महाशक्तिर्महाद्युतिः अनिर्देशवपुः श्रीमान् अमेयात्मा महादृदृक् महेश्वासो महीभर्ता श्रीनिवासः सतां गतिः अनिरुद्धः सुरानन्दः गोविन्दो गोविदाम्पतिः मरीचिर्दमनो हंसः सुपर्णो भुजगोत्तमः हिरण्यनाभः सुतपाः पद्मनाभः प्रजापतिः अमृत्युः सर्वदृक्सिंहः सन्धाता सन्धिमान् स्थिरः अजो दुर्मर्षणः शास्ता विश्रुतात्मा सुरारिः गुरुर्गुरुतमो धाम सत्यः सत्यपराक्रमः निमिषो निमिषस्रग्वी वाचस्पतिरुदारधीः अग्रणी ग्रामणि श्रीमान् न्यायो नेता समीरणः सहस्रमूर्धा विश्वात्मा सहस्राक्षः सहस्रपात् आवर्तनो निवृत्तात्मा संवृतः सम्प्रमर्दनः अहः संवर्तको वह्निः अनिलो धरणीधरः सुप्रसादः प्रसन्नात्मा विश्वदृक् विश्वभुग् विभुः सत्कर्ता सत्कृतः साधुः जन्नुर्नारायणो नरः असंख्येयो प्रमेयात्मा विशिष्टः शिष्टकृच्छुचिः सिद्धार्थः सिद्धसङ्कल्पः सिद्धिदः सिद्धिसाधनः वृषा हि वृषभो विष्णुः वृषपर्वा वृषोदरः वर्धनो वर्धमानश्च विविक्तः श्रुतिसागरः सुभुजो दुर्धरो वाग्मी महेन्द्रो वसुदो वसुः नैकरूपो बृहद्रूपः शिपिविष्टः प्रकाशनः ओजस्तेजोद्युतिधरः प्रकाशात्मा प्रतापनः रुद्धस्पष्टाक्षरो मन्त्रः चन्द्रांशुर्भास्करद्युतिः अमृतांशुद्भवो भानुः शशबिन्दुः सुरेश्वरः औषधं जगतः सेतुः सत्यधर्मपराक्रमः भूतभव्यभवन्नाथः पवनः पावनो नलः कामः कामकृत्कान्तः कामः कामप्रदप्रभुः युगादिकृद्युगावर्तः नैकमायो महाशनः अदृश्यो व्यक्तरूपश्च सहस्रजिदनन्तजित् इष्टो विशिष्टशिष्टेष्टः शिखण्डी नहुषो वृषः क्रोधः क्रोधकृत्कर्ता विश्वबाहुर्महीधरः अच्युतः प्रथितः प्राणः प्राणदो वासवानुजः अपां निधिरधिष्ठानम् अप्रमत्तः प्रतिष्ठितः स्कन्दः स्कन्दधरो धुर्यः वरदो वायुवाहनः वासुदेवो बृहद्भानुः आदिदेवः पुरन्दरः अशोकस्तारणस्तारः शूरः शौर्यजनेश्वरः अनुकूलः शतावर्तः पद्मी पद्मनिभेक्षणः पद्मनाभोरविन्दाक्षः पद्मगर्भः शरीरभृत् महर्धिरुद्धो वृद्धात्मा महाक्षो गरुडध्वजः अतुलः शरभो भीमः समयज्ञो हविर्हरिः सर्वलक्षणलक्षण्यः लक्ष्मीवान् समितिञ्जयः विक्षरो रोहितो मार्गः हेतुर्दामोदरः सहः महीधरो महाभागः वेगवानमिताशनः उद्भवः क्षोभणो देवः श्रीगर्भः परमेश्वरः करणं कारणं कर्ता विकर्ता गहनो गुहः व्यवसायो व्यवस्थानः संस्थानस्थानदो ध्रुवः परर्धिः परमस्पष्टः तुष्टः पुष्टः शुभेक्षणः रामो विरामो विरजः मार्गो नेयो नयो नयः वीरः शक्तिमतां श्रेष्ठः धर्मो धर्मविदुत्तमः वैकुण्ठः पुरुषः प्राणः प्राणदः प्रणवः पृथुः हिरण्यगर्भः शत्रुघ्नः व्याप्तो वायुरधोक्षजः ऋतुः सुदर्शनः कालः परमेष्ठी परिग्रहः उग्रः संवत्सरो दक्षः विश्रामो विश्वदक्षिणः विस्तारस्थावरस्थाणुः प्रमाणं बीजमव्ययम् अर्थोऽनर्थो महाकोशः महाभोगो महाधनः अनिर्विण्णस्थविष्ठो भूः धर्मयूपो महामखः नक्षत्रमेमिर्नक्षत्री क्षमक्षामः समीहनः यज्ञ इज्जो महेजश्च क्रतुः सत्रं सतां गतिः सर्वदर्शी विमुक्तात्मा सर्वज्ञो ज्ञानमुत्तमं सुव्रतः सुमुखः सूक्ष्मः सुघोषः सुखदः सुहृत् मनोहरो जितक्रोधः वीरबाहुर्विदारणः स्वापनः स्ववशो व्यापी नैकात्मा नैककर्मकृत् वत्सलो वत्सलो वत्सी रत्नगर्भो धनेश्वरः धर्मकृद्धर्मी सदसक्षरमक्षरम् अविज्ञाता सहस्रांशुः विधाता कृतलक्षणः गभस्तिनेमिः सत्त्वस्थः सिंहो भूतमहेश्वरः आदिदेवो महादेवः देवेशो देवभृद्गुरुः उत्तरो गोपतिर्गोप्ता ज्ञानगम्य पुरातनः शरीरभूतभृद्भोक्ता कपीन्द्रो भूरि दक्षिणः सोमपो मृतपः सोमः पुरुजित् पुरुषत्तमः विनयो जयः सत्यसन्धः दाशार्हः सात्वतां पतिः जीवो विनयिता साक्षी मुकुन्दो मितविक्रमः अम्भो निधिरनन्तात्मा महोदधिशयोऽन्तकः अजो महार्हः स्वाभाव्यः जितामित्रः प्रमोदनः आनन्दो नन्दनो नन्दः सत्यधर्मात्रिविक्रमः महर्षि कपिलाचार्यः कृतज्ञो मेदिनीपतिः त्रिपदस्त्रिदशाध्यक्षः महाशृङ्गः कृतान्तकृत् महावराहो गोविन्दः सुषेणः कनकाङ्गदी गुह्यो गभीरो गहनः गुप्तश्चक्रगदाधरः वेदास्वाङ्गोचितः कृष्णः दृढः सङ्कर्षणोच्युतः वरुणो वारुणो वृक्षः पुष्कराक्षो महामनाः भगवान् भगहानन्दी वनमाली हलायुधः आदित्यो ज्योतिरादित्यः सहिष्णुर्गतिसत्तमः सुधन्वाखण्डपरशुः दारुणो द्रविणप्रदः दिवस्पृक् सर्वदृग्व्यासः वाचस्पतिरयोनिजः त्रिसामा सामगः साम निर्वाणं भेषजम्भिषक् सन्न्यासकृच्छमः शान्तः निष्ठा शान्तिपरायणम् शुभाङ्गः शान्तिदः स्रष्टा कुमुदः कुवलेशयः गोहितो गोपतिर्गोप्ता वृषभाक्षो वृषप्रियः अनिवर्ती निवृत्तात्मा संक्षेप्ताक्षेमकृच्छिवः श्रीवत्सवक्षा श्रीवासः श्रीपतिः श्रीमताम्बरः श्रीधः श्रीश श्रीनिवासः श्रीनिधिः श्रीविभावनः श्रीधर श्रीकर श्रेयः श्रीमाल्लोकत्रयाश्रयः स्वक्षः स्वङ्गः शतानन्दः नन्दिर्ज्योतिर्गणेश्वरः विजितात्मा विधेयात्मा सत्कीर्तिश्चिन्म संशयः उदीर्णः सर्वतश्चक्षुः अनीशः शाश्वतस्थिरः भूषयो भूषणो भूतिः विशोकः शोकनाशनः अर्चिष्मानर्चितः कुम्भः विशुद्धात्मा विशोधनः अनिरुद्धो प्रतिरथः प्रद्युम्नो मितविक्रमः कालनेमिनिहावीरः शौरिशूरजनेश्वरः त्रिलोकात्मा त्रिलोकेशः केशवः केशिहा हरिः कामदेवः कामपालः कामी कान्तकृतागमः अनिर्देशवपुर्विष्णुः वीरोऽनन्तो धनञ्जयः ब्रह्मण्यो ब्रह्मकृद्ब्रह्मा ब्रह्म ब्रह्म विवर्धनः ब्रह्मविद् ब्राह्मणो ब्रह्मी ब्रह्मज्ञो ब्राह्मणप्रियः महाक्रमो महाकर्मा महातेजा महोरगः महाक्रतुर्महायज्वा महायज्ञो महाहविः सव्यस्तव प्रियस्तोत्रं स्तुतिस्तोतारणप्रियः पूर्णपूरहिता पुण्यः पुण्यकीर्तिरनामयः मनोजवस्थीर्थकरः वसुरेता वसुप्रदः वसुप्रदो वासुदेवः वसुर्वसुमनाहविः सद्गतिः सत्कृतिः सत्ता सद्भूतिः सत्परायणः शूरसेनो यदुश्रेष्ठः सन्निवासः सुयामुनः भूतावासो वासुदेवः सर्वासु निलयो नलः दर्पः दर्पदो दृप्तः दुर्धरोऽथा पराजितः विश्वमूर्तिर्महामूर्तिः दीप्तमूर्तिरमूर्तिमान् अनेकमूर्तिरव्यक्तः शतमूर्तिः शताननः एको नैकः स वः कः किं यत्तत्पदममुत्तमम् लोकबन्धुर्लोकनाथः माधवो भक्तवत्सलः सुवर्णवर्णो हेमाङ्गः वराङ्गश्चन्दनाङ्गदी वीरः विषमशून्यः घृताशीरचलश्चलः अमानीमानदो मान्यः लोकस्वामी त्रिलोकदृक् सुमेधा मेधजो धन्यः सत्यमेधाधराधरः तेजो वृषोद्युतिधरः सर्वशस्त्रभृताम्बरः प्रग्रहो निग्रहो व्यग्रः नैकशृङ्गो गदाग्रजः चतुर्मूर्तिश्चतुर्बाहुः चतुर्व्यूहश्चतुर्गतिः चतुरात्मा चतुर्भावः चतुर्वेदविदेकपात् समावर्तो निवृत्तात्मा दुर्जयो दुरतिक्रमः दुर्लभो दुर्गमो दुर्गः दुरावासो दुरारिहा शुभाङ्गो लोकसारङ्गः सुतन्तुस्तन्तुवर्धनः इन्द्रकर्मा महाकर्मा कृतकर्मा कृतागमः उद्भवः सुन्दरः सुन्दरः रत्ननाभः सुलोचनः अर्को वाजसनः शृङ्गी जयन्तः सर्वविजयी सुवर्णबिन्दुरक्षोभ्यः सर्ववागीश्वरेश्वरः महारुदो महागर्तः महाभूतो महानिधिः कुमुदः कुन्दरः कुन्दः पर्जन्यः पावनो निलः अमृताशोऽमृतवपुः सर्वज्ञः सर्वतोमुखः सुलभः सुव्रतः सिद्धः शत्रुचिच्छत्रुतापनः न्यग्रोधोदुम्बरोऽश्वत्थः चाणुरान्द्रनिषूदनः सहस्रार्चिः सप्तजिह्वः सप्तैधा सप्तवाहनः अमूर्तिरनघोचिन्त्यः भयकृद्भयनाशनः अणुर्बृहत्कृशस्थूलः गुणबृन्निर्गुणो महान् अधृतः स्वधृतः स्वास्यः प्राग्वंशो वंशवर्धनः भारभृत्कथितो योगी योगीशः सर्वकामदः आश्रमश्रमणक्षामः सुपर्णो वायुवाहनः धनुर्धरो धनुर्वेदः दण्डो दमयिता दमः अपराजितः सर्वसहः नियन्ता नियमो यमः सत्त्ववान् सात्विकः सत्यः सत्यधर्मपरायणः अभिप्रायः प्रियार्होर्हः प्रियकृत्प्रीतिवर्धनः विहाय सगतिर्ज्योतिः सुरुचिर्हुतविभुः रविर्विरोचनः सूर्यः सवितारविलोचनः अनन्तो हुतभुग्भोक्ता सुखदो नैकजोग्रजः अनिर्विण्णः सदामर्षि लोकाधिष्ठानमद्भुतः सनातनतमः कपिलः कपिरप्ययः स्वस्तिदः स्वस्तिकृत् स्वस्ति स्वस्ति भूत् स्वस्ति दक्षिणः अरौद्रः कुण्डली चक्री विक्रम्योर्जितशासनः शब्दातिगः शब्दसहः शिशिरः शर्वरीकरः अक्रूरः पेशलो दक्षः दक्षिणक्षमिणाम्बरः विद्वत्तमो वीतभयः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः उत्तारणो दुष्कृतिः पुण्यो दुःस्वप्ननाशनः वीरः रक्षणः सन्तः जीवनः पर्यवस्थितः अनन्तरूपोऽनन्तः श्रीः जितमन्युर्भयापहः चतुरस्रो गभीरात्मा विदिशो व्यादिशो दिशः अनादिर्भूर्भुवो लक्ष्मीः सुवीरोरुचिराङ्गदः जननो जनजन्मादि भीमो भीमपराक्रमः आधारनिलयो धाता पुष्पहास प्रजागरः ऊर्ध्वगः सप्तथाचारः प्राणदः प्रणवपणः प्रमाणं प्राणनिलयः प्राणभृत् प्राणजीवनः तत्त्वं तत्त्वविदेकात्मा जन्म मृत्युजरातिगः भूर्भुवः स्वस्तरुस्तारः सविता प्रपितामहः यज्ञो यज्ञपतिर्यज्वा यज्ञाङ्गो यज्ञवाहनः यज्ञभृत् यज्ञकृत् यज्ञी यज्ञभुग् यज्ञसाधनः यज्ञान्तकृत् यज्ञगुह्यम् अन्नमन्नाद एव च आत्मयोनिः स्वयं जातः वैखानः सामगायनः देवकी नन्दनः स्रष्टा क्षितीशः पापनाशनः शङ्खभृन्नन्दकी चक्री शाङ्गधन्वा गदाधरः रथाङ्गपाणिरक्षोभ्यः सर्वः प्रहरणायुधः श्री सर्वप्रहरणायुधः ॐ नमः इति।
First 5 slokas.
Should we start with Akhanda Mandalaka?
Kartura, first 5 slokas. Oh, yeah, start Akhanda Mandalaka.
अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। चिन्मयं व्यापि यत्सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव त्वमेव सर्वं गुरुदेव देव वसुदेव सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम.
Just chant number 16.
दृश्यवारितं चित्तमात्मनः दृश्यवारितं चित्तमात्मनः चित्वदर्शनं तत्वदर्शनं चित्वदर्शनं तत्वदर्शनं दृश्यवारितं चित्तमात्मनः दृश्यवारितं चित्तमात्मनः चित्वदर्शनं तत्वदर्शनं चित्वदर्शनं तत्वदर्शनं दृश्यवारितं चित्तमात्मनः चित्वदर्शनं तत्वदर्शनं.
So last time I was talking at the end about meditation, and then I realized it was 5 minutes past our time. We take aids maybe in very early stages of meditation, but taking the help of music, etc., as you advance or as the mind becomes quiet, becomes the very source of disturbance as well as dependence. The whole purpose of dhyan is what? To come to know my true nature, that I am independent, right? Drashya varitam, meaning what? Everything, drashya, everything seen, not only through 5 organs of perception, sabda, sparsa, rupa, rasa, gandha, right? But even any thought rising from within, right? Drashya varitam, chittam atmana. By my own effort, I am removing all this. And then what do? Turn on meditation music. Think. See what happens, you and I, supposedly college graduates and intelligent, become victim of very nice marketing. And we are ignorant of our own scriptures. So we say, मैं तो वहाँ गया था, it was such a nice room, soft music was going on, it was helping me, all that thing. Here is one of the greatest saints of previous century, telling us what? Drashyavaritam chittam atmana. And when that happens, what is the result? Chitva darshanam. You come to experience the very source, chitva, the consciousness, awareness, your own nature. But when can it happen? Drashyavaritam. So please, I'm not against it. But the reason I'm saying is, so many of you have told me, like when I come to your home and you take me to the meditation room, puja room, and say, Gaurangbhai, and in my meditation I turn on this music, I got it from this sanstha, and it really helps me, etc. I don't want to tell you anything then and there, but you can still continue. But I'm telling you what Brahman Maharshi is telling. And this is what Bhagavan Krishna is also telling in Adhyaya 6, and all the Upanishads are saying. And this is thousands of years of experience coming out in just 30 slokas. And he says, Chitva Darshanam, and what? That is the very Tattva Darshanam. That is the very essence. This concludes the first half or the first 3 karma, bhakti, and Ashtanga Yoga. Now Bhagavan turns to what is called Jnana Marga. Jnana Marga, meaning Marga for intelligent people. This does not mean intelligent, meaning most of us are not qualified. But see, some of us, we all have intelligence, right? In fact, every one of you are sitting here, including myself. How many would raise hand to say, I'm not intelligent? Right? Every time you have argument with your spouse, what do you think? She is right, you are right, or he is right? You are right, of course, isn't it? We all know we are intelligent. But each one of us have our personality. Some is little more oriented towards action oriented. Some are naturally emotion, bhakti, or love oriented. You know, if something happens to somebody, they would say, "Bhai, don't worry, I'm here," etc. Not that others are not, but they don't express. Everybody is different. Right? Some are Ashtanga Yoga, right? Surya Namaskar, this, that, pranayam, all these things they would do. Another will say, "What is there?" You know. So all different. But Jnana Marg is a marg of inquiry, where you actually question the very thing, and for that it's not for everybody, but not everybody likes to question. Right? Some say, "I will just accept things," and others say, "Look, I have enough things to handle in the world. I don't want to bother this with this additional thing, you know. So don't bother me." So it is very different from the first three marga. The very basis is any time you and I have a problem, right? Our immediate thinking is what? Hey, this is the problem. Let me see how I can solve it, right? That is very human. And we immediately try to solve it. And we solve it also, but you solve it now, then what happens? Again it comes back up. Problems don't go away, it again comes back. Or if it goes away here, it pops up elsewhere, isn't it? Thus we go on solving the problem one after other, and it does not really go away. And the same thing is with the mind also. See, right? Mind is stressed, I want to solve, I want to handle it, and you try these three marga also, right? Quieten the mind, he says, drashya varitam, etc. Gaurangbhai, it is easy for Raman Maharshi to say, very easy for you to explain, but if you had my mind, there is no such thing as drashya varitam, you know, ek dabao, dusre paanch khade ho jate hain, right? It is not that easy, right? Sometimes, not always, sometimes, the very effort in pranayam or controlling Om Namah Shivaya, mind wants to go everywhere, doesn't want to, when you are trying, and that fight itself becomes a very source of a problem. So when I'm trying to quieten my mind, solve the very problem, instead of solving, fighting with the mind, and it becomes a greater problem. Then what to do? So here Ramana Maharshi says that, look, rather than trying to solve the problem, why don't you inquire, is the problem really there? If the problem is not there, and you are just fighting, find out, inquire, what is it? If there is a problem, what is really creating the problem? And if you inquire, maybe the very source of problem itself may go away. It may not be there. So he is forcing us to think, is there really a problem? Meaning, is the mind really there? Right? So next one.
Manasam tu kim margane krite, Manasam tu kim margane krite, Naiva manasam marga arjavat, Naiva manasam marga arjavat, Manasam tu kim margane krite, Manasam tu kim margane krite, Naiva manasam मार्ग आर्जवात् नैव मानसं मार्ग आर्जवात् मानसं तु किं मार्गणे कृते नैव मानसं मार्ग आर्जवात्.
Bhagavan says, Manasam, meaning the mind. Tu, but. Manasam tu, but. Kim, what is mind, he says. Kim Manasam, what is mind? But, hey, having gone through those three, I want to do this to control my mind, quieten my mind. But he says, have you ever asked, Kim Manasam, what is mind? Margane Krute. Have you inquired? He says, having inquired, Margane Krute, having inquired, what is mind? Naiva Manasam. He says, Naiva Manasam. There is no mind. Marga Arjavat. He says, it's such a simple marga. That because the mind is not there, then what is there to quieten and all this struggle, etc. So from next Sunday, no classes. Two things we must remember, right? We Hindus believe in previous Janma. Brahman Maharshi is one of those rare saints from Tamil Nadu who had already purified his heart in previous life. Think of it. The beauty of this text is, it is not given by a Rishi who has studied all the Upanishads and Gita and all these things. Here is a man who studied none of our Hindu scriptures, other than general upbringing. But heart was pure. From childhood onwards, once he heard of Arunachal mountain, he wanted to go there, and there was a natural love flowing for Bhagavan Shiva. And through his own personal experience, I'm sure I've told you, but he heard about death and he wanted to know what is death. So he decided that he will stop breathing, meaning reduce it to bare minimum, not even move a millimeter, and pretended in his, chatai, in those days there was no bed, sleeping. He slept motionless, enacting as if he is dead. And to his surprise, because of purity of the heart, he transcended the body and he could see that he still had existence independent of the physical body and the mind. And such a saint, based on his experience, please understand, not reading Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, he is the one who has composed this. So having then heard about this later on, and he says what? Manasantuki Margane Krute. A young couple. She meets Prince Charming, and like most young girl in their imagination, imagines that Prince Charming will come, sweep me off of the floor, and I want to marry him. And such things happen, and she got swept off the floor and got married because he was very handsome, tall, good looking and all these things. But, when you are courting each other for a few months, everybody put their very best foot forward, right? You never find out each other's weakness until after you say, I do. When you give a job interview also, when you come to welcome also, right? Chinmaya mein sunis this, Chinmaya mein sunis this. It is everywhere. That is how the whole world functions. Well, not to her surprise, but she found out that this guy is making good money, handsome, all these things, but has no sense of cleanliness. Job pe se aata hai, when he comes home, etc., removes his clothes and the exercise bike, he puts his shirt there, he puts his one day, this is about 3 months after wedding, he said, tonight I'm going out with the guys and we are going to have, some party and whatnot, and I'll come. And he comes home around 9:30, after a few drinks, exhausted, tired. And she's still busy doing something. He says, honey, you go and sleep. That's okay. I'll be there in a few minutes. And she's busy for another hour. and he throws his clothes, as usual on the cycle, and then the belt, etc. He just throws on the ground, and he falls asleep. The lights are, pretty much gone, very dim light, and then she walks in, and what does she see? The belt that he had thrown on the floor had all curled up with a nice Texas T buckle, which is, like our hoses, that pipe thing, it is protruding, just like snake. So she walks in and she sees, well, he usually throws things. But this snake, what is happening here? It was close to Nag Panchami. So first she says, hey Nag Devta, if you want, I can bring some milk, but he is fast asleep. I don't want to disturb him. And I don't want to hurt you also, So that's, but he says, how can snake come in my house, etc. And after all, she was the intelligent one among the two. So she leaves the bedroom as is, without very and removes her shoes and goes to garage and wears her boots. So when she comes back, in case when she's trying to remove the snake and if he attacks, and if she has her boots, he won't bite, So she comes nearer and brings a stick, and there's a tack, 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 no movement whatsoever. So now she says, it looks like maybe a dead snake, let us inquire, right? And then of course, not iPhone, smartphone. And she turns on the light in the smartphone so husband doesn't get disturbed. And what does she see? Careless husband's belt and that thing just protruding. Now, think of it. She could have brought a danda, beaten, all these things. Fear, everything gone through what? Inquiry. Manasantuki margane krute. How can there be a snake? Is the snake really there? And when she inquired, what happens? Naiva snake avam, right? There is no snake there. So the whole thing about, doing this, that, exactly the same thing Raman Maharshi is saying. That you and I, like removing the snake, are trying to quieten the mind, not understanding that the mind really is not there. Okay? So pay attention, little difficult analysis, but it is very important, and then we will also go through what Swami Tejomanji has given in the analysis. Okay? See, the first thing Bhagavan says, Drashya Varitam in the previous sloka, not that easy for all of us. But what is Drashya? Drashya is basically nothing but thoughts, isn't it? And what is a thought? Right? When I say Manasantukim, mind, what is a mind? Right? Mind is nothing but flow of thoughts, right? What bothers us when we say my mind is bothering me, meaning the flow of thoughts, the thoughts that are coming, they keep bothering me. So he says, what are these thoughts? So when I want to analyze thoughts, better thing is to analyze one thought, right? So let us say that I am standing in my house looking through the big window outside. It is already April, Wednesday it rained, etc. And the flowers have started coming. And I see a flower, very nice flower that has bloomed, and I see it, and I said, let me go outside and even look at it. Now, in order for me to see the flower, right, the flower has to be in my awareness, isn't it? So I am aware of the flower, and then I am aware of the flower thought. Meaning every thought has an object. Here the object of the thought is flower, and that is in my awareness, and I am aware of this flower. So I go out and I stand near the little shrub where the flower is blossomed forth, and I am looking at it and I am admiring it. Remember, I have a thought of the flower. Where does the thought exist? In mind. Mind is thought, and I, the awareness, illumine the thought. In order for me to know the thought, it has to be in my awareness. And the flower also has to be in the awareness for me to recognize, isn't it? So I'm recognizing. So flower and the thought both are in awareness. Just as all the planets are where? They have to be in space. Right? Each planet occupies space according to its size. Right? Wherever planet is, space is, isn't it? And the planet occupies, according to its size, the space. But no planet, whether it is an entire galaxy, sun, moon, earth, can intrinsically change the space. Right? A billion years from now, let's say the entire solar system, right? Earth and everything just burns up. Then goes into ashes and becomes one with some other planet in our galaxy. When it is gone, would the space not be just as it is, as it was before the solar system came into existence? There is no intrinsic change in the space. And each planet occupies space according to its size. Similarly, every thought takes the same awareness according to the object. The awareness and the object, if it is an apple, I see it, apple awareness. Now the apple has to be in my awareness, the flower has to be in my awareness for me to recognize it. Remember, no planet can destroy the space. Planet is, space is. Planet is not, space still is. The flower is, flower thought is, awareness is. Flower is not, flower thought is not, awareness is. There is no change taking place in awareness. Just as water plus name and form is wave. So wave is, water is. Wave is not, water is. So what is wave? Water plus name and form. Right? What is awareness? What is flower? Awareness plus name and form. Why? Flower is, I am aware of it, awareness is. Flower is not, flower thought is not, awareness is not. Awareness is. Why awareness is? I am aware of the absence of the flower. So awareness never goes away. Not only that, there is no change. As I was watching and admiring this flower outside in my yard, there is a anjir, fig tree right behind it. And a squirrel fell on the flower shrub, being chased by another bigger squirrel. And they both came and just ran away. Now immediately, what was the thought? The flower thought is gone, and what do I see? Suddenly it jumps, so I'm a little scared. It comes, oh, squirrel. The squirrel thought came. Before I could recognize what? Bigger squirrel is chasing. And they both just run away into the neighbor's yard. Now when the flower thought was there, and when the squirrel I saw, and now the object is squirrel, and I have this squirrel thought. Is my awareness contaminated by the previous thought of flower? So I see the squirrel as a squirrely flower, or flower is squirrel? I see the squirrel as is not at all a flower-shaped squirrel. Just as when a planet goes away, the space remains untouched. Exactly the same way, thought rises, awareness, just as water plus the form and name is wave. No change happens in water. It only appears as wave. Wave is no more. Water is. Wave is there. Water is. Similarly, awareness is. Flower thought is. Flower the object is. Flower thought is there. Flower thought is not there. Flower is not there. Thought is not. Awareness is. Okay? Next. Now, is the flower thought a subject of awareness or object of awareness? No, I'm not asking, I'm just forcing you to think, no answer necessary. An object always has to be something that is away from me. Right? Now, the flower, in order for me to recognize, has to be in awareness. Meaning it is not separate from me. If it is not separate from me, it is not an object of awareness. Think of it. For the book to be an object, it has to be separate from this physical body. Isn't it? But for the book in awareness, for the flower in awareness, it is in awareness, it is known separate from awareness, so it is not an object. The object of thought is flower, and the thought is in awareness. Now, if the object, if the flower is a subject, right? There are only two possibilities, subject and object. We have already said object it is not, because it has to be separate from awareness, it is in me. Now, if it is a subject, then when the flower thought went away and the squall came, I, the subject, should go. But I don't. I am the same from childhood onwards. Even when the flower and the squall go, I still remain. So the flower and the corresponding thought is neither a subject nor an object. Little difficult to digest, but think of it pondering, and on your way also think again. The clay and the pot. The pot, where does it exist? In clay. Is the pot an object for the clay? Cannot be. Because clay is in and through the pot. Subject and object are two different things. Is the pot a subject? No. When the pot dies, clay doesn't die. Clay is only what? Clay plus the form and a name is a pot. Clay is neither a subject nor an object, meaning it is called apparent. Clay is satya, pot is apparent, and in Sanskrit we call it mithya. When we call mithya, you say it's all blind thing, etc. What is mithya? But that is called apparent. The thought, come back to flower thought. Thought rises from me just like the wave rises from the surface of the ocean. Water does not undergo any change to appear as a wave other than the form. In the same way, from Chaitanya consciousness, I, Atma, rises a thought, a flower thought. Chaitanya itself appears as flower thought and the object flower. And when it recedes, just as when you are meditating or making an attempt, from you alone, Om Namah Shivaya, the thought rises, Lord Shiva's shape and form rises, right? And the name, and Om Namah Shivaya. The thought is gone. Again, what is there? Awareness, Shiva's form, name. Again, awareness. Again, Shiva's name and form. Again, awareness. Water, wave. Water, wave. Wave is apparent. Water is real. Please understand. And that which is apparent can never cause any problem for the real. The wood chair and wood are same state, but the pot and the chair, similar state. Wood and chair is not the same. Chair is apparent, wood is real. In other words, wood converted into chair. Chair can never be a problem to wood because wood is in and through the entire chair. But chair can, you can pick up the chair and hit the pot, and the pot can be broken. But as far as chair and wood are concerned, wood is never afraid of chair. I am in and through chair. Really, chair is not. I, the wood, alone appear as the chair. The mighty wave in the ocean can topple the largest of Exxon oil ship, maybe 5 football field long. But what can it do to the ocean? With respect to the ocean, the wave is apparent. With respect to I, the awareness, the waves that I call mind, which is so stressful, giving me stress, is apparent. It can do nothing to I, the awareness. Logically, intellectually, do you accept this or not? Not anubhav-wise, okay? Anubhav-wise, it may have created a little more stress that I can understand, but what is this? That is natural. But logically, you cannot deny this. Right? So now let us look at this very same thing in a slightly different way. Whether a problem, like we said, whether the mind is real or not. Are you all with me, or this is too much? You are with me, right? It is a little heavy subject, but just skirting around always at the surface and saying it is better to get real into it, little difficult, but that's why you are coming here. And it forces me also, because it's not easy to explain, believe me, I'm trying my best. Okay? Now think of it. Margane krute, when you inquire, having inquired, he says there is no mind, naiva manasam. So karma, jnana, karma, bhakti and ashtanga yoga, mind was very much real. And we tried to handle the quiet and the mind. Please understand, there is no one who is so, other than Raman Maharshi and a few others, who are that pure. So don't jump to the thing that I'm so glad Gaurang uncle said this. Karma yoga, I'm withdrawing from volunteering at Welcome More with Jatin Bhai. And bhakti, no, I'll tell my wife, let's take the murti and offer it to the ocean. And no. Unless and until heart is absolutely pure. Right? Then only, intellectually you and I can understand. But to walk the walk, heart has to be very pure. So he says, is the mind really real? So what is real and what is unreal, that is what we have to first find out. See, Chaitanya alone in Adhyatma, spiritual science, in Adhyatma science, Atma alone is absolute and real. Everything else is relative. Even dharma is very much relative. Though, dharma doesn't mean you should be a papi, etc. But dharma goes on changing depending on the place, etc. Right? We are all Hindus. Right? Some people who believe in Shiva will take the bhasma and apply it horizontally, isn't it? There are some Vaishnava who do the kumkum and they would like make a U, right? There are some who will just make a big dot. Right? Now one religion, one Hindus, etc. But the expressions are different. Not that one is right, etc. But over a period of time, things change. So dharma is not absolute. Other example that I can give is, you go to different organizations, right? In some organizations, when the Swami is giving a pravachan, women cannot sit in front. They sit all the way in the back and men are in front. Not right or wrong. That is how their sampradaya is and that is their dharma. In another one, you will say men on this side, women on this side. Right? We all have been there. And you come to Chinmaya mission, intermingled. Who is right? Which dharma? No, they are all. Dharma is relative. And one last example, just to make it very clear. Our sannyasis are technically or dharma-wise are not supposed to touch a woman. Right? But when a sannyasi alone is walking by a river and he hears a young woman or a young girl shouting, "Bachao, bachao, bachao." He himself is a very good swimmer, but he is a sannyasi. He hasn't touched a woman for 5 years ever since he took sannyas. Now here he is all alone. The girl is drowning. His dharma is not to touch a woman. But dharma is not absolute. My dharma also is to save a life. What should he do? Jump in, hold the girl, bring her out, find out where she lives, and take her to, and then forget about it. Right? Dharma is relative. But spiritual science, adhyasma science is absolute. There is no change. So what is unreal and what is real is defined as Trikale api tishtati. Trikale, 3 periods of time. Past, present and future. That which remains the same, past, present and future, is called real. That which changes or is not there in any one of the kala, time, past, present and future, is called unreal or mithya. And that which is never there in all the 3 periods of time is called asat. Sat, asat and mithya. Sat is that which is there in all the 3 periods of time. Asat is horns of a horse. Have you ever seen a horse with a horn? Never. Meaning it is asat. It never is there. Right? But that which I see, but is not there in 3 periods of time, is called mithya. Now tell me, your mind, my mind, everyone says my mind, that is our subject. My mind is too much for me, it gives me stress. But when you and I go to bed and we are in deep sleep, right? Does your mind give you a problem? If it did, you couldn't sleep. What happens? The mind completely rolls. The mind is no more. Before going to bed when I was awake, mind was very much there. In deep sleep, the mind is not there. Therefore, there are no flower thoughts. There is no squirrel. Nothing. Right? There are no thoughts. There is no mind. Again, when you wake up, what happens? The mind starts waking up. And oh, I need to go there. I'm already late. 59. Let me turn on my radio. Oh, there is an accident. I'll be late. Tak, tak, tak. It all again starts. Again, the mind is a challenge. Mind is a problem. But according to our definition, that which is not there in 3 periods of time, in deep sleep, mind was not there. And even in waking, when it is there, right now happy, Are darsna kya nasta banaya, potato pawa and chai, really, really good today. You really put your heart into it, happy, right? And then next thing, what is this? Think of it. Meaning the mind that is changing. Now, if the mind is changing according to our definition, what is it? It's an illusion. See, remember, that belt that appeared as a snake, what is it? Snake that I see is an illusion because upon inquiry, what happened? It is a belt and not a snake. Right? Upon inquiry, meaning what? the belt is there before I saw the snake. Belt was there when she sees the snake, right? And the belt is there after she discovers that there is no snake. Meaning the belt, the substratum always is. In the same way, when I thought mind is too much, there is a substratum. And in deep sleep, when the mind is not there, there is a substratum. That which comes and goes is an illusion or mithya, right? Every night you see the dream. What is it? It was not there when you were awake. When you wake up, it is not there. Therefore, what do you say? I saw the dream. Right? Meaning what? It is mithya. Now, whether you won a lottery or somebody hacked your account and emptied your entire Charles Schwab, not yours, somebody's Charles Schwab account, right? Either way, but once you wake up, what difference does it make? That dream cannot touch the waker. Why? Because it is mithya. If that mithya dream cannot touch me, how can the mithya mind touch me? Because the substratum upon the jnana of the substratum upon knowing the belt, the snake can do nothing. So the prayatna, the effort you and I have to make is to come to know the substratum of the mind, which you and I make an effort by quietening the mind again and again, and to recognize the substratum. We only have 4 minutes, so I don't know if I should, but I'll give you a quick example and then we'll elaborate. Say you are flying in and landing at IAH, and you see Lake Houston, right? Many of us, when you are landing, you see the trees, etc. Do you ever feel that you are the lake water? Or you are the trees or the land? Never. Right? Once you come home, wife says, look, Friday evening, you come tomorrow morning, we have to go for grocery shopping. You go through the grocery store with her, and you see the potatoes, and you buy some potatoes, you buy some orange juice, all these different groceries. When you look at the large potato, do you think you are the potato? If you saw it, you will be crazy, isn't it? Then you go to Vishala to buy some atta and other things. Then you come home and she cooks. Right? A little bit of orange juice you drink, you have apple and chapati and all this. Now where has it gone? In my body. Now what do you say? I am this body. The water, the potato, the banana, apple, none of it was me. If in the grocery store the potato that I look at is, hey, look, there is no difference between you and me. You are potato. They say, what are you talking? Now part of the potato, part of the orange juice, water, all this is part of this body. And what is it? This is me. Now tell me, is it ignorance or knowledge? Just as the thought and its object is in my awareness, this physical body also, where is it? Do I know it or not? Where is it? In my awareness. Is it a subject? Yes. Think, see, this is what I say, it's not easy, right? Is the pot a subject or an object for clay? Apparent, it's not. Is the body subject or object? 11:14, think 7 days to think and ponder. Okay. I wanted to elaborate, but we didn't have much time. But please don't take this lightly. Okay, we are going one sloka. By May 31st, we'll complete it. But these are slokas not just to understand. See, intellectually, we are all brilliant. We can understand, especially when you got a teacher like me who explains. No, I'm kidding. But when you and I put forth effort, it is not that difficult to understand. But The minute we say Sarve Bhavantu and then not to take this as apparent is a challenge for you and I. Right? And that is where Shraddha comes in. That which is so obvious to my own buddhi and yet I cannot accept. That is where I need Shraddha and sincerity and effort in meditation. Okay? So we'll see it next time. Okay? Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om